Yo, what's up guys? I just wanted to stop in, see how you're all doing. I hope you're all healthy, I hope you're all happy, I hope you're staying safe during all this pandemic and stuff. I'm feeling a lot better than I felt the other day for those who watched that video. Today we're going to have a full review on Avengers now that I've played the game till the end of the campaign and been enjoying the Endgame, because I feel like it's important that people know the full story. So if you can wait around to the end of the video, I would highly appreciate it. Listen to what I have to say. Later on we'll see the penultimate episode of the Avengers Let's Play. Tomorrow will be the finale of the campaign, and then there'll be a few more episodes after that with various Endgame stuff. Tomorrow also will be the DLC full playthrough for Borderlands 3, and I promise you there will be more Destiny content coming. Enjoy. Welcome back to the channel, and today let's talk about Avengers. Now that I feel I've had enough time experiencing the game to make a formulated argument about the game in general and give you my final thoughts and review about everything from story to multiplayer to microtransactions. So first and foremost, let's talk about the story. Now, there won't be any spoilers in this video. I just want to talk about very specific things when it comes to the writing, the animations, the story, progression and stuff like that. So first and foremost, the graphics in this game are incredible. The animations on the characters are also incredible. When they're feeling emotions, you can tell just from looking at their face, especially Kamala Khan or Miss Marvel. Her animation is incredible, and what this does is it invites you in to experience those emotions with the characters also. And the way this game is written, the way this game is animated, the voice acting in this game is incredible too. What this does is it makes you care about the characters throughout the story and you want them to win. The investment and the emotional investment in these characters is all due to how this is written and how this campaign is put together. And in terms of a story campaign from start to finish, even though it wasn't the longest game in the world, it is for me in my top 10 games of all times, at least the story campaign anyway. Now, there are a lot of bugs in that story campaign as well, and a lot of problems, but I like to see them as being a patch away from being fixed. They can patch it, they can change it, they can fix it, but it is a little bit jarring throughout the story campaign to see the audio and video come out of sync. So when people are talking, the audio is like a second behind. That happens in one specific part of the campaign and it lasts about 2 or 3 minutes. It's incredibly jarring, but it is only that one section. On top of that, then you have some bugs in terms of, like dropping into an area. The animation that's meant to play doesn't play, and you're just awkwardly looking at your characters standing there waiting for, eventually where they're supposed to drop in. And then on top of that, there are some game bugs, like characters getting stuck behind walls. Like in my Let's Play, I got thrown into the roof and sent into space. There are things like that happen on occasion. Now, these are a patch away from being fixed, like I said, but they are things that have happened. Now, I just want to say, yes, AAA titles should be better than this. They should work out these bugs, but I don't remember a game in recent history that is on the level of Avengers is that didn't have bugs from launch. Destiny had massive bugs from launch too, but they got on top of it and fixed it. Avengers have already put out one patch, and I feel like if they continue this momentum, they will have a lot of these very base level launch problems sorted out within the next couple of weeks. We will see what happens with that though. Bugs, never great, shouldn't be in the game from launch, but they do happen. Now, the actual campaign, we have very believable heroes, very normal human-like heroes with human emotions and human problems. It's a great story to invest yourself into, but the villain of this game, or villains I should say, have a very good progression also, because very much in comic book history there are a lot of cheesy type of characters and things like that. It's part and parcel of comic book worlds, but this game is very gritty, very normal, very human, and to see the progression of that villain from who he was to who he ends up becoming, no spoilers, is believable. It's realistic in terms of a comic book world. It's gritty, it's dark, it's just all round incredible. And the villain of this story isn't the easiest to translate into a video game, but they did a really good job of putting this whole campaign and story together and just making everything really good in terms of a story. Now, when it comes to after campaign, you have a lot of quests, missions, endgame content that you can do on repeat and recycle over and over and over again. There are a lot of people who are complaining about this because, you know, it's just doing the same thing over and over again. But if you look at games like Destiny, like Borderlands 3, that's the same as that. Like, all games nowadays have repeatable, recyclable content that you do over and over again. The thing with Avengers that is so good for me is that those missions often have different enemies attacking you, different super enemies, I like to call them, like the Adaptoids and the Exos and the Dreadbots. They can randomly appear. I was just in a normal area fighting some drones, and then a Dreadbot just spawned in behind me and started shooting me. So even though those seem to be rare occurrences, they can happen. Every single mission you go into, which is the same mission over and over again, has a different experience because there are different enemies. And you can also play those missions as one of 6 characters because you do want to level them all up and get their abilities and stuff like that unlocked. Now, one of the complaints I saw from the beta is that combos are very repeatable and there's no innovation in combat. Well, I disagree massively, because once you start to play the game and you start to learn the characters, even without them being fully maxed out, the combos that you can create as a person that aren't, you know, typical XXXX and then a finisher, you know, you can take those combos and extend them by doing other things with the characters. You can have full-on combo videos where you can infinitely keep people juggling. There are things where you can easily take down a high-level enemy with a lot of health from start to finish with one combo with certain characters. And then you have like Black Widow and Iron Man who have different weapon choices to choose from. So like Tony has his repulsors, a laser, or his rockets. The rockets do immense damage but are a little bit slower. You know, Black Widow has a fully auto machine gun. She has a high caliber pistol, which is like a sniper. There are different varied things you can do in this game. And on top of that as well, the skill trees where you learn all the skills also have a speciality and a mastery skill tree to choose from, and all the skills in there change how each individual ability for each individual character works. And that makes the game interesting because then you can make different builds for each character. And then on top of that, you have armor that specifically works with specific builds. So if you want to go in and have Hulk be an absolute monster and just beat the living hell out of things, you want him to have a lot of defense and a lot of might, which equals out to attack power. So you're in there constantly smashing people in the face. So if you can get a full legendary build with loads and loads of might, your attack's going to be through the roof. And then you have specific moves that you use within Hulk's skill tree to further increase melee damage, but also unlock things that work with melee. And then with Black Widow with a sniper-like pistol and Iron Man with his rockets, you could build their skill tree to have more ammo or more damage with those specific abilities. And then you take your legendary armor and you build it around precision, which is ranged damage, which means you could sit back and snipe people and do incredible immense amount of damage. And that's what makes this game repeatable and replayable over and over and over again, because there is so much choice, there is so much variety, and there are a lot of quests to do in Endgame before you even get to the real Endgame stuff, which is the Hive missions. Now the Hive missions essentially is Horde mode. That's it really, nothing else to say about it, but it can be fun, it can be exciting, especially when you're playing with other people, and there's a constant achievement level there of trying to get to the end or what level you can get to, because it works in like a level system. And in those hives you get the next tier of armor, which is exotic. At the moment the exotics are a little bit bugged, but I'm assuming they're going to be fixed very, very soon. So you have to go do that for very specific armor sets with very specific perks, which may help your builds on characters too. Now, if I had one small complaint after campaign, is that the actual missions that are on the war table for you to go and repeat are very scarce, and they do change often, but there should be more options on the war table every single time it refreshes. Like outside of the iconic missions and like the continuation of the campaign, there are a handful, like 5 different Warzone missions, like the drop zones and things like that. There could be a couple more of those thrown into the mix for my, you know, my pleasure and what I want from the game. But the things that you can do on a daily basis is incredible. That war table updates every couple of hours. You know, you have daily faction missions to do, kind of like bounties from Destiny. You have to go out and kill 15 exos or whatever, or kill a certain enemy with a finisher, kill enemies and collect the items that they drop. They give you faction XP towards your shield and your anthill faction ranks, and then faction ranks open the option for you to be able to buy higher armor, and also every time you level up a faction you get very specific resources that you need for endgame, as well as units which is used for the in-game currency trading. There are daily and weekly challenges with the battle pass too, so you have to go and do specific things with each character to level up their battle pass and unlock other things. Also in the game there are cosmetics to unlock by getting patterns that are, you know, dropped from random missions and end game missions specifically. Those then get taken to the fabricator, which turn into skins for your characters. Now they're random, you can't choose which one you want to unlock, but you know, just getting them and unlocking skins and cosmetics for free is always a bonus. And if you wanted to use your units on in-game currency, there are actually quite a lot of sources to receive those units to spend. Now it's not the greatest kind of system they've put into a game ever, but you do get priority threat sectors that you can do every week. So you go there and you do the mission and you can get 500 units as a reward. Every battle pass has units on them too. Every chest you open can give you 5, 6, 7 units in each chest, as well as many other ways to get those units. Now I've been playing since September the 1st for most days. Most of that was through the campaign also, so I've probably got about 15 to 20 hours in this game, and I have just under 14,000 units, which if you wanted to buy legendary skins with is 2 legendary skins. So the in-game currency market is a lot better than I initially thought it was going to be, and on top of that there are lots of ways to get in-game cosmetics without even having to spend those units, the in-game currency. I still believe that the marketplace skins are a little bit expensive, but now my kind of view has changed a little bit because of how many choices and options in game there are to get skins and cosmetics without even having to think about spending money in the marketplace. If they refined that marketplace just to be a little bit cheaper per skin and definitely drop down the prices on takedowns in game, like the marketplace takedowns are just as expensive as the skins, which is ridiculous. If they refine that and make the pricing a little bit better, then everything is okay when it comes to cosmetics, in-game purchases, microtransactions. I feel like they would have a really good system because there are ways in game to get everything that you want to get without having to worry about the marketplace. I know the marketplace has very specific exclusive cosmetics, but if you're not too bothered by that, there are in-game choices that you don't have to worry about any type of money whatsoever. So what would I change in the game to make it better? First and foremost, performance issues, bugs and glitches definitely need to be fixed. That should be priority number 1 across the board. I think there should be more options on the war table, even if it does refresh often. I feel like every time it refreshes there needs to be more missions and stuff that you can do to pick and choose from. I feel like the resources spent in game needs to be refined a tiny little bit. You know, end game content requires you to very much boost all of your armors and such things, which is totally fine, totally understandable, but some of them can be extremely expensive. I upgraded one legendary from 130 to 140 power and it cost me about 50 upgrade modules, which you don't get that often in the game, and then you're stuck because if you want to upgrade other legendaries or have a whole nother set of legendaries, the time it takes to acquire those upgrade modules is too long in comparison to how much you spend. So if they refine those resource spending experiences, I feel like it would just be in a perfect spot to just enjoy across the board and just play this game over and over and over again. Personally, some of the UI choices I feel like they could have just changed a little bit, like having to press start to get the pause menu and then press start again to get into the options menu just seems a little bit outdated. I feel like if it was something closer to Destiny where you can either hold the button to get into your inventory or be able to press it once and then back out to the Quinjet, I feel like that would be a little bit more acceptable for a game of this caliber. But I feel like that's a small personal thing that I want to see a change in. And I definitely would like to see some sort of roadmap from them with ideas and concepts and experiences that might be coming to the game in the future over the next couple of years, much like Destiny does, just to keep that hype train, just to keep that idea of, okay, even if I'm playing this over and over again, there are going to be new things at this time, like in January there's going to be this released. You know, it gives you a reason to keep playing every day to prepare you for something that's coming because you know it's coming. And last but not least, as far as I can remember, I feel like they need a slight improvement to AI on your team, because when you play as a solo player and you have 3 AI characters, sometimes they just don't do anything. I have been in a vault with you know, Thor, Iron Man and Hulk, and Thor will just stand next to a wall and not do anything the entire time. And then sometimes when you fight like Taskmaster or Abomination, just halfway through the fight they'll just stop fighting and stand there and you can just pummel on them, and they may continue attacking towards the end of the fight, but for a good period of certain fights they just don't do anything. And I feel like that is just something that needs to be fixed ASAP, just to make that, you know, content a little bit more interesting, a little bit more challenging. Don't get me wrong, I love beating things easily and getting all the things that I need in terms of resources and keys and, you know, the daily experience and shield experience and faction experience, but I do wish also that it could be fixed so that it's a little bit more challenging. And I know there's quite a few bugs and there's quite a few things that need to be fixed, but I think overall this game has the potential to be the level of Destiny when Destiny started to get popular with like the Taken King and how much that blew up. I feel like this game could be even better than Destiny was, and I feel like the longevity of this game is important, because if they consistently and constantly bring free content to this game and free characters, this game could last 5-10 years easily. And I think after the Hawkeye release, they really need to bring someone like Wolverine into the game, because everyone loves Wolverine and Wolverine's incredible and his character could be very interesting, and it opens up a whole world to the X-Men to join the game too. And he's a fan favorite, so it would bring in more eyes, more views, more money, etc, etc, making the game essentially better and better and better. So if I had to average this whole game out through story, campaign, endgame stuff, repeatable stuff, daily stuff to do, I would give this game an 8 out of 10 easily. And only because of the bugs and the glitches and the problems that I've been facing playing the game and the performance issues, is it not a 9 out of 10, potentially a 10 out of 10. Once this game gets through its teething problems and its launch problems, and they do, and hopefully they do a lot of patches to fix a lot of this stuff, this game is going to be perfect for what a quote-unquote looter shooter should be, even though this isn't a shooter, but you know, that kind of concept of going out, getting gear, leveling up, and you know, getting different perks and things like that and different skill trees. This game could be the pinnacle of what these games can be. Now, when it comes to bias, I'm a little bit biased because I love Marvel Comics, but I don't think I'm saying anything that's illogical or way beyond the scope of what this game could be or is right now. I feel like I'm talking with facts and logic, so you know, take it as you wish. If you wish to listen to me, great. If you don't, that's also up to you too. All I would say is stop listening to these critics who critique for the sake of being a critic. They will tell you everything negative. They will force feed you controversial news and topics because they know that you are going to get offended and click on their videos and click on their articles, which earns them money. A lot of critics do this on purpose to earn money and earn a wage. They will be negative on purpose without even really experiencing the game or really being fair about the game. So even if you're not going to listen to me, I implore you, if you want to wait for the game to be reduced in price, I totally get that, but I implore you to play it yourself, experience it yourself, and make your own mind up on it. This video is my thoughts, my review, and my mind made up on this game without any external influence. So I hoped this video helped in terms of looking at the game from a different point of view. I hope that if you do play this game or you do buy this game, that you enjoy it as much as I am, because I do feel like it's a really, really good game. Thank you for watching. I've been easynow. You guys have been awesome.